All right, we're gonna jump right back into it. I'm not even gonna play any music. I'm just gonna jump right back into the next interview. We have DaShay Carter. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Excited. Everything's going really smoothly. We had a couple of little, technical issues in the beginning, but I was able to work right through them. And then since then,
Yes.
things have been going smooth. I'm excited because this is
Awesome.
the smoothest it's gone since I've done it. So I'm excited. Everything's going
Yes.
really good. Yeah. Had some really good interviews, and now we're going to get to you. So go ahead and introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are.
Hey, I am DaShay Carter. I am a entrepreneur. So I do modeling. I have I do hosting. I have a talk show. I have a podcast.
Wow.
I have
Okay.
a clothing brand. Um, and I have a small business collective where I share resources and occasionally do a little bit of consulting as well. And I also have a hair and skincare collection as well.
Okay, it would have been easier if I'd have asked you what don't you do. It would have just been easier to
Exactly.
just name the few things you don't do. All right, so where do we start? What is the most highest on the priority list right now? What are you
The
working on?
highest on the priority list is going to be the collective. It's one of my passions. I've always loved. My mom was an entrepreneur, right?
Uh-huh.
So I grew up around entrepreneurship, and I was always seeing little things that could be improved. And then when I got into retail, I learned how I can apply what people are already doing in like corporate
Uh-huh.
to small business. And so my knowledge of that plus my creativity, it kind of goes together very well. And so I always have all these ideas for other people's business.
Right.
And so people would just gravitate towards me and ask me for opinions. And so I started consulting, and it was taking a lot of my time. So what I started doing is whatever research I find for myself and that I've gained by helping others, I have it all in a Patreon account as a resource space.
Mm-hmm.
So people pay a membership and then they gain access to all of that knowledge. So it's really cool. That's one of my passions.
Dope.
It's like my driving force because like I said, it helps. I elevate with other people in that industry, so it's fun.
Okay. Nice. So it seems like you're working with a lot of interesting people. Do you want to name drop some of the people you're working with, or?
Yes, yes. So I recently actually, because I'm hosting a business mixer,
Mm-hmm.
just to raise awareness about the collective and the talk show, but also to bring some of those online people together.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had the opportunity to work with this brand. It's a clothing brand called Fashion S Wear in Sacramento,
Okay.
and she just got her store. She was an online boutique. Now she's online and in person.
What's the
And
website, if you don't mind? Sorry to cut in.
fashioneswear.com.
Fashioniswear.com. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So she is allowing me to use her boutique as a venue space for the mixer.
Okay.
And then I also met previously a few years back, I met this young lady. She does cheesecakes. And so she makes like the cheesecake. She used to make full like cheesecakes to sell, like, and I'm talking about like tiered cheesecakes,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
But now she makes like little shooters, so they're perfect for events and things like that. And so she's catering the event, and her name is Jay the Cheesecake Queen.
Okay.
Um,
That's a dope
and
name.
so it's really cool because it's like the mixer, just planning the mixer, it embodies what the whole collective is about, working together. Because it's not just for resources, it's to utilize each other as a resource.
Got
You
you.
know what I mean? Because if I'm having an event, I'm going to need a photographer. I might need some volunteers. I might need some influencers to market the event. You know what I mean? I'm going to need some food.
Right.
I
Right.
might need a bartender.
You
Like,
need everything.
so
So you need
yes.
everybody
So
to.
all of that will be in the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can just go from them, the people that I know.
That's genius. You talk about it so passionately. Is this this seems like to be a passion or something you've been working on for a long time now?
Yeah. So it's something I had been working towards, and I didn't know how to organize those thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, what I was doing is I was hiding. I was hiding in like assistant roles, you know, so I was assisting other people fulfill their dreams. And
Okay, I
so
got you.
it was keeping me from fulfilling my dream. But last year, towards the end of the year, I just stopped and I focused on me, and I took time, like this whole beginning of this year, to set a new foundation. And that's when I was able to really organize this in a way that I could actually utilize it, instead of, like I said, me just consulting here and there, and basically sometimes saying the same stuff that I've
Right,
said to one business to another business. You know what I mean?
right, right.
Um, and so now I have it in an organized space, and I have it in a way where I'm like, I'm still giving, but I'm also able to receive. So I don't feel guilty for giving doing a consultation, because I know that this person has already paid a $10 membership. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So I don't feel like I'm cheating myself or I'm burning myself out, because now I've already, I've created a space where I can get paid and they can get what they need to elevate, you know?
Got you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about some more of the other projects you're working on. You named so much. I'm going to try to get through all
I
of it. I mean,
know.
like,
So so for me, they go hand in hand. For me, it's like I'm all about self-love, and I feel like you have to launch a business, right? And to encourage yourself and to keep going, you have to have a level of self-love and
for sure.
self-belief,
For
right?
sure.
And so to keep that going, I have my clothing brand. The clothing brand is all affirmations, and honestly, that's where I started, was with
Mm-hmm.
the clothing brand.
Mm-hmm.
um and that's what motivated me to get to where I am. So it just says little phrases that have helped me along the way. One of my biggest ones is I built me. Because when you reach levels of success, people will come out of the woodwork talking about something. I helped you get there. No, 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 no. You know what I mean? But the reality is, it takes you to apply whatever lessons you've learned in your
For
life to
sure.
build yourself
For
up.
sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that's one of my phrases. Another one is big. It literally just says big across the shirt. Because I had a habit of shrinking myself. Like I said before, I was always an assistant, knowing that
Mm-hmm.
I'm a leader, I'm a born leader.
Mm-hmm.
I was always shrinking myself into the assistant role and just waiting for my moment to shine. You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And so that shirt always reminds me, like, to be big, right? So that's where the affirmation clothing comes in. The skincare, same thing. I um i believe that we deserve to have natural ingredients that we can look up and see what they mean and how they're going to benefit our bodies. And so my oils and scrubs, like all of my products, basically,
Mm-hmm.
you can use them on your hair and on your skin. And I also utilize ingredients that will help your mental and emotional health as well. And so that's how that one ties into that as
Got it.
well,
Okay.
because we have to have that, right,
Right.
to run a business.
Right. It seems like you had this idea, but you needed all these other things, so you just decided to do it all instead of outsourcing it. That's what it sounds like.
Pretty much. I mean, because it's it's like, I think it was in me, and then I just had to figure out how it all fit together.
Yeah, it
Because
works.
like
You
I
don't have to
said,
wait. You don't have to wait on nobody if you can do it.
yeah,
Knock it out. Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, exactly. And honestly, I've unintentionally been isolated a lot. So I love community. I believe in
Mm-hmm,
community,
mm-hmm.
but I've had to live in individuality a lot,
Right, right,
individualism
right.
a lot,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I gotta make it happen. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
can't sit and wait for my dreams to happen or for someone else to make it happen for
no, that
me.
makes
So
sense.
yeah.
So, on this journey, it's funny is I was already thinking of stuff that I have to say afterwards. I'm doing this for 80 hours, so like my brain is just racing this whole time, and I was
I
just thinking,
imagine,
there's
yeah.
I wanted to make an announcement after I was done with you, but I figured that this was a perfect time to jump in and say it because we're talking about how life just comes at you, and so a couple of people last minute had to either do call-ins and they're not going to be able to make it into the studio. So a little bit of the schedule is being either changed around, and I'm squeezing people in when I can because there were some people who really wanted to do it but weren't sure if they could and are now able to and jumping in. So I'm trying to squeeze everybody in. I'm working as fast as I can. So I just wanted to say that really quick since you were talking about how, life is constantly moving and you got
Yes.
to stay busy. You got to stay, attacking your goals. So with
Yes.
that being said, what are some of the goals that you have for yourself with all of the things that you're doing?
I am learning to be more community based, more trusting of others. And so my goal is to run with that. Like I just created a brand ambassador program for those three aspects of my business, so
Hmm.
that I don't have to do it all, right? So someone else can be helping me market, and someone else can be speaking to their audience. That's going to help, the things that I'm doing is going to help their audience,
For
right?
sure.
So one of my goals is to automate my business as much as possible, so that I can have more time for me and my kids, and to explore life and to live, because I
Yeah.
feel like I spent a lot of time surviving, and I don't need to do that anymore. You
Right.
know what I mean? So that's one of the biggest goals, is to automate my business, and to continue to love me first, and to heal, and to like I said, spend more time with my children, spend more time with my family. I just recently reconnected with some siblings
Oh,
and some
nice.
cousins. Yeah, so I want to spend some time connecting with them, and just living, like I said, instead of surviving.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just amazing. Like that was actually you answered my question in my next question in that answer. I was going to ask, how do you have time for anything else with all the stuff you're doing with living life and taking care of family if you had it? But
Yeah.
you already mentioned that you had kids and you do find the time. So how do you do that?
I feel like I just don't think about it, because I'm also in school, because I'm studying to be a therapist. Um and it all works together. It does. So the goal ultimately is to have one big building where all of this is happening in the same building, but I also have other people doing it as
Got
well.
you.
So there'll be a market for small business owners. So everything you need, everything you would find at Target or Walmart,
Right. I got it.
will be there, but it'll be all from small business owners,
Right.
right?
Right.
Then there'll be like a mental health area. It's like a big community center.
Hmm.
That's why I call it the Carter Love Collective. Like, it's a collective of a lot of things that we need to nurture ourselves, right?
Right.
So there'll be a therapy area. The clothing and the oils, they fall under the market area. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the way technology is also, I could have online clients, or I can just run support groups in the community center. So the degree is going to help me some way, somehow, but
Right.
also, even as a podcaster and as a talk show host, it just gives me that extra level of experience. So when people come and talk to me, they know that I'm not just speaking from experience, I'm also speaking from education.
Right. I know
Um,
this. I'm not
yeah.
just talking. I know this.
Yes, I noticed this.
Right.
Okay. So I feel like I just move, because when you take the time to think about it, like overthink about it, then you trip yourself up. I got all this stuff to do. I gotta do, and I do sometimes still overthink, and that's what burns me out, is when I overthink about it. Like, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. Okay, but yes, we have a week though, so
Hmm.
let's split it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's break it down. Let's breathe. And I've learned too, when it comes to the kids, is they don't care so much about quantity when it comes to time. They don't even know the concept of time yet. They care about quality. So if I take 5 minutes, and I take a 5 minute break from studying, and I take 5 minutes to play a video game with my son, maybe 10 minutes, you know what I mean? He's on fire. He don't care if we played all day or if we played for 10 minutes, as long as we got some time in, as long as I made some time for him.
Right.
And so just doing that with my kids, but also with myself, taking a 10-minute break to just be,
Right.
So
Okay.
just
Dope.
really listening to the need, but also trying my best not to overthink it, and just do.
Hmm.
Because the reality is, if a mistake happens while I'm just doing, I'm going to learn something, and that's only going to help me elevate. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like before, when I was just doing, yes, I did shrink myself by working as an assistant, but I also made a lot of connections in Sacramento. I gained a lot of experiencing in the modeling industry. I learned a lot about business in a different way,
Hmm.
because I worked with photographers and event coordinators, and I had never worked with those kind of individuals before. My mom makes gift baskets. Okay. We used to set up at like carnivals and stuff, and sell like gift baskets and little trinkets and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I got to learn, I did learn, you know what I mean? And so even though that was a bit of a mistake because I was shrinking myself instead of stepping in the leadership role, I still learned so much and made so many connections. And then on top of that, I healed more. So I gained a level of confidence to where I can walk in my business with my head held high. You know what I mean? So that's for me, it's just move. Just move. And then as you start to learn, you'll start to move with intent. And then you're able to do what you need to do and remember to give yourself a break because at the end of the day, the work is going to be there.
Right.
There's always something to do. You know what I mean?
It's true that.
So, yeah.
Well, I wish I had more time to talk to you because it seems like you got so much more stuff going on, so much more stuff to say. But unfortunately, it's only 80 hours, and I have to split it up with everybody.
Yeah.
And I kind of squeezed you in here. But I would, I have other shows coming up that aren't 80 hours; they're regular radio shows, and I'd love to invite you out to talk more about some of the stuff you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I would love that.
Before I let you go, you want to let, are you looking for people to reach out and maybe network with? If you are, you can throw out your social medias.
Always.
Any contact
yes,
information.
I'm always looking for a networking opportunity. So I am DaShay Carter on every platform, and I'm literally on every platform, including LinkedIn and Pinterest and Snapchat. Okay. So it's going to be DaShay, last name Carter, CARTER. On Facebook, it's DaShay Sophia Carter. So that's SOPHIA. Sophia Carter.
Okay. Well, again, I appreciate you taking the time to come and let me interview you and tell you, promote your stuff. And I look forward to talking to you more.
Yes, I look forward to it too. Thank you so much for having me. I really
problem.
appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. Thank you.